Any questions about the officer reports? No questions on the officer reports. We'll move to Fergal. Fergal, can you raise your hand so I can unmute you, please?
I'm already unmuted.
You're already unmuted. Wonderful news. Over to you, sir.
A couple of things I just want to run over to everyone. Week 10, hard to believe as well. So this week on campus, we're running a few Christmas activities where we're turning the venue into a cinema, where we're showing 2 movies a day, one at 1 o'clock, one at 4 o'clock as well. And many thanks to the Film Society for helping us out with that. We're looking forward to it. It should be fun. We also, another item for information as well, DCUSU did a deal with the gym here as well. So there's now free gym for all DCU students until the end of this month, and swimming pool as well. If you click into the newsletter, there's a little hyperlink and the information on how to do that. You just have to send an email to them and outline the information and just give them the information that's required as well. In regards to the library furniture, just wanted to bring to everyone's attention as well, because I knew it was a bit of an issue. Lucy's been working very hard in that regard, and he got the library furniture that wasn't used to be rehoused rather than dumped, and they have now been sent down to the Longford's Women's link, which is great. It's great to see them have a new home as well. And just finish off, I'd like to welcome Aoife, Elliot and Rachel to the exec team. It's great to have you here, and looking forward to working with you throughout the year. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer anything. So I'll leave it open there. Owen, if that's okay.
Any questions for Fergal Lynch, DCU Students' Union President? Going once. Going twice. Please raise your hand if you have any questions or pop them in the chat, one or the other. Also, I forgot, if you saw my panicked message in the chat, please rename yourself to put your course code at the end. Adam Costello, can you please raise your hand just so I can unmute you? It's under the how do you raise your hand again?
Under participants.
Under participants, yeah. I don't see that because you have to raise your, because I'm a host.
I got him there. You should be able to talk.
Hi guys, I raised my hand there.
Adam, your name and course code, please.
Thanks.
It's Adam Costello Doherty, DC 525. I'm a postgrad.
Perfect.
There was a talk on one of the first CRC meetings regarding what you call it, semester 2, and people were talking about getting back on campus and all this sort of stuff. And I was just wondering about that because a lot of the students in our course are spread around the world, really. And we need a lot of time to plan ahead and stuff like that. Now, I emailed Fergal a couple of times, but I didn't get a response because I'm sure his inbox is full of thousands of emails. But I was just wondering what was the story with that, because there was mention of it, and we need a lot of time to plan for that kind of thing.
Fergal, do you want to take that?
Yeah. Just in regards to semester 2, as kind of was outlined through the university as well, that the learning setup this semester is going to follow on to next semester. So if you weren't on campus, or if you were on campus, if you're mandatory on campus this semester, you'll be mandatory on campus next semester. So I'm just going to ask, in your course, Adam, you weren't on campus at all this semester, were you?
No, we weren't, and that's the thing, is it was in the publications, it was in the newspaper, and then it was obviously sent out through yourselves as well that we'd be going as we are.
Yeah.
But I just thought I'd ask, because some people are in Dubai and Russia and all kinds of places in my course, so I don't want to be telling them, yeah, guys, it's okay, we're going as we are, and then suddenly DCU turn around and say, hey guys, can you come back on campus?
Yeah, see, the way it's going to be working is that anything that they can do on campus, if there's going to be any sort of extracurricular activities, or if there is anything to do with that, if you wanted to have an extra class on campus, like obviously to the discretion of the lecturer, which if it's suited like for that particular course, if you get me. So there's not, if you're not on campus this semester, you're not going to be needed to be on campus next semester. But they're hoping, I know that there was messages sent through Simon Harris down through Derek Yo as well, that they're trying to promote as much sort of on-campus activity where fit for next semester, just to give students more time on campus. But the question, to answer your question, no, if you weren't needed on campus or required to be on campus this semester, you're not required to be on campus next semester.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Lucian, did you want to weigh in there as
Yeah, I
well?
was just going to say, Adam, I would speak to your program chair. Your program chair will know what the story is next semester. But as Fergal said, I think there's a 0% chance that your course will need to be on campus next semester. But just check with your program chair if you want to.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lucian.
Okay, any other questions for Fergal? I shall
answer any in AOB at the end as well.
Yeah. So we shall move on to a vote on the officer reports. You are voting to accept the officer reports. Please vote now. Wonderful. The officer reports have been accepted. Excellent news. We shall move on to pre-nominated AOB. I'm going to ask people not to send it through the chat and to raise your hand and unmute yourself, please, just so I can keep up with it as much as anything else. So if you have pre-nom AOB, anything you want to discuss at the end of the meeting, please raise your hand now, and then please raise your hand now, name, course code, quick one-liner on what it is, and then we'll come back to it on the at the end if I can speak English. Alva, I see your hand is raised, just your name and course code and a quick description.
Yeah, hi, BAJLI4, so Joint Honours Law 4, final year. It's just on the communication between schools in Joint Honours, and particularly with relation to deadlines and them all being at the same time, basically.
Okay, Joint Honours deadlines, will I put that down as? And your course code again, sorry?
EAJLI4. Bit of a mouthful, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got lost after the J, so thanks for that.
No worries.
We'll come back to that at the end. Perfect. Anyone else? I'm just going to lower your hand. Anyone else for AOB?
I'm going to start saying that course code phonetically for the rest of the CRCs.
That's wonderful. Katie Archer, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Just your name and course code, please.
Hi, yeah, Katie Archer. I'm on the BAJH3, and just on what Alva said there, like it's very similar on the BAJH. So just to note that I think all the Joint Honours courses are having that problem.
Cool. So we'll combine all that into the one kind of Joint Honours discussion. Anyone else? I'll give another 2 seconds if you want to raise your hand. Katie, up, down. No, hands down now. Wonderful. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Sold. Lovely. One item of AOB to come back to at the end. I shall move on to items for agreement. Sustainability Working Group. Lucian sent it in. However, Katie Archer is going to be presenting. Welcome back, Katie. The floor is yours.
Hi. Lucian asked me to present this just because I was the chairperson for the Sustainable Living Society for the last 2 years. I'm now the PATS rep. So I just have some experience with working on sustainability with the SU. The motion reads that Council notes the crucial importance of student input to the university's policies surrounding sustainability and improving the SU's work as an often cited green campus. Council also notes that only 2 student representatives, members of the SU sabbatical team, sit on the University Sustainability Council, and that given the busy workload of these officers, there is limited time for them to prepare proposals before attending meetings of the Council. So therefore, Council mandates the Vice President for Engagement and Development, and from next year onwards, when the titles and the roles will change, the Vice President for Community and Citizenship, to form a sustainability working group with interested students that will meet prior to each scheduled sitting of the University Sustainability Council. The working group shall allow the sabbatical officer to gather feedback and ideas from students that can be collated and brought to the attention of the Sustainability Council. The Vice President may seek assistance from the Committee of DCU Sustainable Living Society in sourcing students to sit on the working group, but the group may include a mix of students who are both involved and not involved in that society. So basically just a consistent channel of communication between SU reps and the students that will allow a broader mix of students' voices to be heard and brought to the Sustainability Council, and just to make sure that that's consistent across the years as well heading into the future.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Katie. And I believe, Lucian, did you want to speak on this?
Yeah. So I would strongly encourage everyone to back this motion so that we can get this working group set up and have it as a permanent fixture every year going forward. Before I was a sabbatical, I sat on the Sustainable Living Society committee, and I did always feel there was a lapse in communication between the students who were passionate about sustainability and the work that the Students' Union did, and this year wanted to build that a bit better. So I think this working group will allow students like Katie and others, and many of you, I hope, to contribute to what the SU sabbatical officers' positions are going into Sustainability Council, which neither myself nor Katie knew existed until I was on the sabbatical team. So this is to make sure that there's a clear line of communication there from the student right up to Declan Raftery and the COO, and that'll be put into effect basically today. If this passes, I'm going to start setting that up. And any class rep who wants to be on Sustainability Working Group can email Dylan or myself, and we'll help you to get involved. So I'd encourage everyone to vote for this. I think it'll be a nice project going forward.
Thank you very much, Lucian. I shall move to Dylan Mangan, Vice President for Engagement and Development.
Yeah, just very briefly, just to offer my full support of this itself. I think we've seen in the past that working groups work particularly well, especially for SU related matters, from the likes of Dean's Black Students of Colour working groups to even the volunteer working groups that we have with our different students on volunteering type societies in DCU as well. They're fantastic for getting feedback of ideas. And also as well, me and Lucian have kind of essentially been doing this in little bits and different ways throughout the course of the semester when it's come to a few issues, but it would just be nice to have it mandated and put into writing so that when next year comes around, it keeps going essentially as well.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Has anyone any questions about the motion? Please raise your hand if so. Ross Boyd, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Just your name and course code, please.
Ross Boyd, BSSCI 3, and just want to offer my full support as well, and just ask a question to Lucy and Dylan, because we both have been working on cycling, especially in that area. Will this be something that would supersede this as the sort of committee, and as at the end for that, really? And otherwise, full support, and definitely something that's needed, especially in getting students who are not directly involved with the Sustainable Living Society, like myself, who basically had to email for about 2 months just to have something to happen. So definitely support otherwise.
Lucian, do you want to take that as a tier motion?
Yeah, so as Ross said, we've talked to him about cycling plans, and we met with him and with Sam, the sustainability officer. And what I would imagine will happen, Ross, is that this group is kind of like a central framework for chats about this sort of thing that exists outside of the Sustainable Living Society. But that if you have a particular project you want to work on with Sam and with us, that we can still have little spin-off meetings about that. So this is just kind of for like a significant group of students to come together and chat. And then if anyone has passion projects, we can just go off and chat about those as well.
That okay, Ross? I'll yep. Cool. Any other questions, queries, complaints? Please raise your hand if so. I will take that as a no. So we shall move to a vote. You are voting on the motion itself. Please vote on your screen now. Wonderful. That motion has carried. Excellent. Thank you, Lucian. And we shall, without any delay, come straight back to you for the next motion. Lucian, the floor is yours.
Hello. So this next motion is a follow-on from Union Week, which is a campaign I ran 2 weeks ago, which was very much based around informing students about the work of trade unions and also letting them know that sports are available through the students' unions in a workplace. So before I was on the SU, I worked for a campus company for the last 2 years. I worked for 2 campus companies, actually, and I luckily had a very nice experience, never had any issues with my employer, but I'm aware that there are other staff in DCU, including student staff, who have not been so lucky. For example, Tri-Space catering staff have been in pay claim through SIP2 with the university for the past few years. That's something, when I brought up last year, that the sabbatical team didn't know anything about. So my aim this year was to make sure that the Students' Union was getting more involved in the rights of student workers, especially student workers who work for DCU. So this motion is very much following on from Union Week and is trying to maintain the spirit of Union Week going forward for the next few years. So what I would like is for the sabbatical team to be mandated every year going forward to keep information on the Students' Union website, which I have posted as of 2 weeks ago, about various trade unions that are available for you to join. and also about the work that the Students' Union can do to support you if you have a workplace issue, including with the university themselves, because ultimately the union is here to support the students, not the university. So the motion basically mandates the sabbatical team to provide students with a page on the union website with contact details for trade unions, and that'll be updated every year depending on whether unions come and go, or we have an issue with a union, or a new one gets set up, or anything like that. That we will also share the SIP2 Workers' Rights Center helpline. So this is available to every student who is in a USI affiliated SU. So as long as DCUSU is affiliated with the USI, our students can phone up the SIP2 Workers' Rights Center and get advice if they have an issue in the workplace. So that's a phone number that I'm going to hopefully push out a lot more during this year for students to access, and I want that to continue going forward beyond this year. And then if that helpline is to shut down or whatever, this motion stipulates that we can find the next closest alternative. And then also making it known to students through just information being spread in via emails and the newsletter and social media that the Students' Union can be contacted if a dispute with a student's employer arises. We might not have all the answers, but we could certainly point you in the right direction of a trade union or let you know what your rights are. And that is particularly the case if the employer is the university themselves, whether that's a campus company, whether you're working in the shop, the bar, you're a student ambassador, you're working in the gym, doesn't matter. So that's this motion, and I'd ask you all to vote for it. And basically just continue the spirit of unions going forward beyond this year.
Thank you very much, Lucian. Has anyone any questions about this motion? Please raise your hand now. Any questions at all? Don't be afraid. Raise your hand if you'd like. I never like when there's no debate or questions on a motion at all.
Everyone just really likes unions.
Yeah, up the unions. Okay, I'm going to give another couple of seconds for a vote until we have a vote, just see if anyone has any questions about the motion. Wonderful. I think we are happy enough to move to a vote. So you are voting on the motion itself. Wonderful. That motion has been passed. Excellent news. Thank you very much, Lucian, for both of your very well-written motions.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
We shall move on to our next item for agreement. Sean Coffey, can you please raise your hand so I can unmute you? Or else I'll go digging through the participant list.
I think I'm unmuted there.
You're unmuted there. Lovely stuff. Sean, the floor is yours. Just your name and course code before you start.
Love it. Yeah, it's Sean Coffey, BSI3. So hi everyone, my name is Sean. I'm currently on Intra as my course code suggests. And last week at the Business Faculty Student Staff Forum, myself and a couple of other students learned that the university has plans to reduce the length of semester 1 to 10 weeks in 2021-22 on the basis of the semester clashing with August resit dates and other dates. So essentially this will leave students with 2 weeks less to engage in the same volume of learning as well as extracurricular activities. So as you all know, this year's 10-week semester has caused students an unprecedented level of educational related stress and anxiety. And that is absolutely separate to the fact that the learning experience has been virtual for the most part for a lot of people. 10 weeks is just simply too little time to condense the same amount of teaching and learning, in my opinion. Council therefore mandates the SU executive to lobby this issue with the relevant bodies in an effort to ensure that DCU students are heard, and it's understood by the university that in the eyes of the students, a 12-week semester is most conducive to effective teaching and learning in the university. Council further mandates that the SU executive ask the university for an explanation of the decision to shorten the semester, with specific reference to how the student voice was represented in this decision. So essentially, I want to know, I assume a lot of other people want to know, were we consulted on this matter? And if we were, I would like to understand where the advantages lie in this. for the student body. I strongly believe in this motion. I can't see the advantage this creates, and I don't believe this decision to be fair to us. And I would really like support for this motion. I think this is something that we shouldn't stand for, essentially.
Thank you very much, Sean. I will go to Lucian first, as your hand was raised first, and then I'll go to Kate afterwards. Lucian, the floor is yours.
Cool. Hey, everyone. So similar to a motion we had a few weeks ago about the length of semester 2 this year, I agree with everything Sean said, but also I'm going to ask you not to vote for this motion because everything that's in the motion I'm already doing. So I'll explain what the story is. So to clarify what Sean was saying, there's a reason why next semester 1 is going to be 10 weeks, and it's because next September, hopefully pending a few votes in the next couple of weeks, DCU will be transitioning to a new academic calendar. This has been in the works for years. I actually mandated myself at CRC last year to push for this to be implemented in 2021, and it's being done so. So this new academic calendar means that there are now going to be Christmas exams in December. It means that semester 1 will start earlier, and it means that semester 2 will also start and finish earlier. So it means students will have a longer summer, exams before Christmas. This has been in the works for like many years. So this is coming into effect next autumn. Now, the problem is that the current academic calendar is bumping into the new academic calendar, right? So there has to be 6 weeks between resits and the start of semester. And resits in the 2021 year are still ending in mid to late August. And then there needs to be a gap for those results to come out so that students who are sitting resits can come into week 1 of semester. Because of that, semester 1 next year has to be 10 weeks. Or it simply won't fit. So obviously this year we had a 10-week semester 1 because of the late Leaving Cert results. Had semester 1 this year been 12 weeks, it would have ended on Christmas Eve. So next year is a similar problem where semester 1 has to start on the 20th of September in order to leave people time to get the recert results. And also the assumption that the CAO date will probably be later next year. But then also if semester 1 in 2021 was to be 12 weeks, then it doesn't end until the 10th of December, and Christmas exams, well, are meant to have already started at that point, but will be starting within days, so you would have no time to study. As it stands now, you'll have a 10-week semester, and then you'll have 2 weeks. 2 weeks to study, and then you'll have your exams, right? Now, none of this has been confirmed, so I'm not going to say this as fact. This is just the plan right now. Okay, so. Okay, right. So the thing with the 10-week semester next year is that the 10-week semester this year happened as a consequence of COVID, and it was a panicked decision more, in my opinion, and not a lot of thought was put into it. And I totally agree with Sean. A 10-week semester has not worked. It has caused people huge amounts of stress. It's having a hugely detrimental effect on people's learning, and you cannot fit 12 weeks of learning into 10 weeks. I think that every program chair would probably agree with that. So I sit on an academic calendar implementation working group, and the next meeting of that working group is on Friday. So that's a working group where we have been determining and voting on the new academic calendar. So the next meeting that's on Friday. I have brought up to the chair and secretary of that working group that I have huge concerns about there being a 10-week semester in autumn 2021. Now, to clarify, this 10-week semester in autumn 2021 will hopefully be the last 10-week semester in the history of DCU. From 2022 onwards, it'll be back to 12-week semester 1s, 12-week semester 2s. There will never be a 10-week semester again. This 10-week semester is literally just the result of a strategic impossibility where you have to fit the semester in between resits and Christmas exams, right? So like, I have communicated this to the chair of the academic calendar implementation working group, and that's Billy Kelly. He's the Dean of Teaching and Learning. And I told Billy Kelly I had huge concerns about this, that 10-week semester has not worked for students. And I will read for you now the response that I received from Billy Kelly, which I think addresses Sean's concerns and does specifically acknowledge the input of students. So Billy said, the proposal to run a shorter semester 1 in 2021-22 is intended to get us over the difficulties of an overlap between the end of 1 year based on the old calendar and the start of a new pattern. I totally hear what you're saying about a compressed semester, and we're very conscious of that challenge. We've learned some lessons from the experience of this year. The process for deciding on academic structures for the next academic year begins in March, and we will ask all programs to factor a shorter first semester into their plans for next year in terms of both module delivery and associated assessment. So as far as I'm concerned, the university is aware that this 10-week semester has been a huge strain on students and as well on their lecturers trying to fit 12 weeks in. And that from next year, they're going to actually make sure that the next 10-week semester, which I would rather avoid, but seems inevitable, is going to be better planned and better managed, and is hopefully going to be less stressful as a result. Now, I if it was up to me, would not have a 10-week semester. I would find a way to have a 12-week semester one next year. Unfortunately, I am but one vote on the academic calendar implementation working group, and there's quite a few people on that group, and the rest of them are staff, and the staff don't see a way around this strategic impossibility, which I sympathize with. And I do think having 2 weeks to study between the end of the 10-week semester and Christmas exams will be good. So look, I've gone on for a long time, and it is kind of complicated, and I'm happy to chat to anyone about it offline afterwards. But effectively, I've done the work on this, like trying to push for this. So voting for this is just going to mandate me to do something I've already done. So I wouldn't necessarily vote for it, but either way, I am going to continue to raise this issue, and I will bring it up again on Friday.
Lucian, thank you very much. I shall move to Kate Goodman, Business Faculty Rep.
Hi, Lucian, I actually might ask you a question and then I might propose an amendment maybe. Would it be possible to maybe change the wording to say to lobby you to change, the way you were saying a 6 week, they need 6 weeks after the August repeats, if we could lobby them for a 5-week period, so then we could start maybe 1 week earlier, we'd have 11, because obviously the stress, the 10-week semester cause this year was just too much for all students.
As far as I know, that 6 weeks is like set in stone in a sense of like it's constitutional effectively, like it actually can't be changed. I think everyone I've spoken to in the staff has expressed a very strong desire to have a 12-week semester next autumn, and they are just frustratingly cannot get over this, and that the two calendars are just bumping off each other, and that this is going to basically lead to 10 or 20 years of this great new academic calendar with the pre-Christmas exams, and this 1 year we have to get over this little bump, which is occurring.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Sean, I'm going to let you weigh in quickly just as you're the proposer of the motion, and then I will move to Chloe, I promise.
Lovely. Hi, Lucian. I'd just like to prefix what I'm about to say. I did not know, I was not aware of the work that you were doing on this matter. I didn't know how set in stone everything was, and the way that it was kind of explained to me, it wasn't explained in any great detail. It probably didn't come up in the right manner as well, be it in a staff student forum in the business faculty. I would just ask one question before we kind of put this to bed, that if the course chairs and the academic people that be in each respective course are being made aware of this, and they're being asked to make allowances to fit their modules into a 10-week semester, has the economic implications of the economic weight of our degree been factored into this? Because 10 weeks of education is not the same as 12 weeks education when we enter the workforce.
I'm happy to bring that up on Friday at the working group, and hopefully Billy, the Dean of Teaching and Learning, will be able to sort of like bring that up at the higher committees. I'll bring that up at any committees I'm on. I totally agree with you there, but I haven't had that conversation yet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And at long last, we have Chloe, VP Education and Placement.
Thanks, Owen. No, I was just going to say on that I know Lucian has like completely looked into every avenue of this, and even on Kate's point of asking to reduce the 6 weeks between the repeats and the start of the semester, if we were to look into doing that, that would come next year, because that would be for next year's academic calendar that it's already set for last year's one, which the repeats are in. So it's like just wouldn't work. It's like fully set. And then secondly, I was just going to add that the problem with how chaotic this semester is that the review of course material and program modules is done in March. So that's being done next March. So luckily that will be done before the 10-week semester comes about. So the changes will be implemented more like with more detail and properly. Whereas this time it was very rushed and panicked and didn't work very well. Like module coordinators themselves did look at how to rearrange modules, but they've learned so much now on what works and what doesn't work. And I do think it'll work way better. I have to say, I don't think it'll be as chaotic as this time around. But I do get Sean's point, and that's really annoying that the 10 weeks isn't 12 weeks of learning and you are learning less. But I hope that they come up with a way of rearranging that, and it shouldn't be nearly as stressful as this time.
Sean, I'll go back to you. Thanks, Chloe.
Yeah, thanks a million anyway for Chloe and Lucian's input. I obviously understand that there's things that you can't change, be it the August resets set in stone. Although I don't understand the implications of pushing the August reset back or changing things. I understand these things are set in stone, and there's limits to what you can do. And I'm just glad that we're all in agreement that, and especially with academic staff as well, that 10 weeks is not sufficient enough, and that if it is going to be the case, that every single allowance has to be made. So thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Sean. I will move to Lucian. Seems to be the one in opposition to the motion. So if you'd like to summate why people shouldn't vote for the motion, I'll go back to Sean to ask why people should, if that makes sense.
I mean, I don't honestly mind either way. I mean, this isn't going to change the work that I'm doing, which is going to continue to try as hard to get this, but ultimately a class rep council motion doesn't change what the DCU academic management do or think. So I just see it as being a bit defunct, given that I've already done the bulk of the work on this. Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Thanks, Lucian. And Sean, last word to you.
Yeah, agree. Don't vote for my motion, everybody.
I love that. I had to do that twice last year. It's not fun. We will move to a vote on the motion. You are voting on the motion itself. Please vote on your screen now.
There are some people who just must really like you, Sean, and just a lot of
those people are Sean's closest friends.
Yeah, you have 15 very close friends in this call right now. I'll say that much.
Okay, I'm going to take it that vote is done. There's an insurmountable lead that the noes have taken. Again, just important, like a few of the motions this semester, it's not that the motion itself isn't supported, it's just in the form it was in. Wasn't quite in the place it should be, but the spirit of the motion definitely supported by council, and it's great to get a bit of clarity on this kind of stuff as well, which is fantastic for council, really. So thank you very much, Sean, for your motion, for it being very well written and well explained, and thanks everyone for the debate. Perfect. We shall move on. Items for discussion is nothing. Items for information. Now I have to take off my chair hat and put on my National Forum hat. I can do that symbolically by taking my Christmas. No. Basically, Teaching Hero Awards are a thing that are run by the National Council or the National Forum. Basically, students' unions do. Some people think we do a lot of complaining and not a lot of rewarding. So these are an opportunity for you to point out the lecturers that you think are doing really great work, teaching staff in general that are doing really great work, and have them rewarded at a national level. So if someone has, made a really positive difference to your learning within the university, this is your chance to nominate them to be recognized on a national level for the work they're doing to make the teaching and learning experience as good as possible. There's a wee graphic there that I put in the screen share folder that I don't know if Dylan got. He didn't. His finger up suggests that he didn't. But basically, this is just an opportunity for you to recognize those who have really put a lot of work into teaching and learning. I'm hoping to get the SU to do a little bit of a push on it now, just before the nominations close. They close sort of halfway through December. But it's just a great opportunity for you to put forward someone who's really made a difference to teaching and learning within your course. If you can't find it, Dylan, it's no worries. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a quick piece just to sort of let you know that they're a thing. We'll have the nomination form sent out in the newsletter. And then I'm sure if you just search for the National Forum Teaching Hero Awards on Google, you can find them. It's pretty much the first result. And I'll try and dig for them in the chat if I can find them, if I get a bit of downtime before the end of council. So that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions about them, I'm happy to take them. But it's just kind of a nudge so because I know as class reps, you're often student leaders within your class, liaising with the teaching staff. So I think it's a really good opportunity for you, having seen the amount of work they may put in behind the scenes, to recognize them. And yeah, pretty much it. Anyone any questions at all? Raise your hand. No, wonderful. Well, you have been informed, so we can move on. We're back to AOB now. So I have Alva from earlier with the very, very long course code. Can you please raise your hand just to reintroduce your AOB? Wonderful, Alva. Just your name and very long course code.
Yeah, Alva Healy and BAJLI4. And basically, all of the joint honours in my course are kicking up a fuss and complaining about the fact that we had an unsurmountable amount of assignments due pretty much within 5 days of each other. I think we had like 6 assignments due. One of them was worth 100% of our grade. It was in like week 6 or 7, so halfway through the semester. And we just feel like there isn't a sufficient amount of communication between, now I can only speak between SALIS and the School of Law and Government. And I think a lot of my classmates are just a bit let down at the lack of communication between the schools. We asked what the reasons for these deadlines were. We asked for extensions. These extensions were not granted to us, and then we subsequently found out that they were granted to the same course but the second years, so we have the same module. And they were granted to the BCL class but not the joint honours class. And yes, there's just a lot of unhappiness basically in the course between communication and deadlines.
Alva, thank you very much. Does anyone from the executive team want to take that? Caitlin Grant has just pointed out this has been brought up at the Humanities Social Science Student Staff Forum. Chloe, you have your hand up. I'll ask you to unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, as Caitlin said, this is an issue that's been brought up a number of times. I attended most of the staff student forums, and I think it was brought up at all of them that there doesn't seem to be communication across the board, even within programs that are in one faculty, that they feel that lecturers don't have like an overview of deadlines and assessments, and it is very frustrating. It is something that we can bring further to the ADTLs of the different faculties and try to express them further the lack of communication and concern among students, that it does affect your ability to do all of them if you don't, like if you're under that much pressure. There was things sent around to lecturers at the start of the semester to do with online learning and stuff and how to better like plan the semester, but I guess it hasn't come through in all lectures. But I suppose we can further ask them to be very mindful of that for second semester, and we did express it to the ADTLs at the staff student forums. And it's not very helpful for now for this semester, but I would communicate with your program chairs too to further like express how like the position you're in. You should never have that many assignments due in 1 week. That's just awful.
Yeah, so we did actually send an email to the chair, and they kind of reverted us back to the module coordinator, who kind of ignored us. So it's good to hear that it is being brought up, and we know that nothing can be done for this semester, which we're basically at the end of, but it was definitely with a fear of it happening again in semester 2, especially being final years, and this year being worth 100% of our grade. Like, you can't expect someone to be able to divide their attention and study equally when that's the kind of deadlines that you're up against. But we do really appreciate that you are actively working on it, and I think it is definitely an issue that joint honours probably encounter everywhere, just the nature of the course that we have. So we appreciate that you're trying to fix it anyways.
Yeah, no, I do. I understand how frustrating that is when you feel that they just don't acknowledge your other subjects and your other modules. I said ADTL like 50 times, I realised, and for anyone that's not sure what that is, it's the Associate Dean of Teaching and Learning. So they're kind of over a faculty, and that's their kind of area, what they look at to ensure that learning is kind of consistent. So we can bring that again to them and say, with specific examples, we did put together loads of things that students brought to us like that. So we are hoping to see a big change for second semester in light of all those problems that came up this time around.
And Fergal just has his hand up now. I will move to Fergal.
Yeah, just a quick question. I'll just put down my hand as well. Just in regards, I know you said you got in contact with your module coordinator. Was there any feedback from your program chair about this?
So we contacted the program chair. I think she's the program chair for joint honours, and the module coordinator basically said that the deadlines were set in stone long before the start of the semester and that they couldn't be changed because it would impact other deadlines for other law modules for people who were in pure law, not joint honours. So joint honours basically felt like they were favouring the BCL students, the pure law students, basically, instead of kind of looking at what joint honours also had. We emailed Susan, sorry, I just seen Lucian's message. So basically we weren't really sure who to go to because everyone was diverting us to somebody else. And yeah, the class were just getting frustrated basically.
Okay. Just to note, was the program chair contacted because in regards to the assignments being set in stone, I'm not 100% sure about that either. I'm not sure Lucian have anything to say about that, but we could try and get in contact with her ourselves as well and see what the story is.
Yeah, that would be appreciated. As we said, basically, we're just worried for semester 2 if it occurs again.
It's okay.
Lucian, do you want to weigh in at all, or are you happy enough?
No, Chloe said everything that I would have said.
Okay, Alva, are you happy enough with that?
Yeah, I'm good. I just wanted to raise it. Thanks for listening, guys.
Cool, perfect. Thanks a million. So that brings CRC 4 for semester 1 to a close. The next CRC is in 2020. Oh, Chloe has a raised hand. Chloe.
Sorry.
CRC 4 is unclosed.
Sorry, I should have said this at the start or brought it up. I forgot about it. But can I just say, can everyone please sign the petition for the student nurses, please, if you haven't done so, and share it with your classes. I'll put the link back on our story today and I'll get the link and send it in the chat while Owen is talking, but it would be really helpful to please sign that petition.
Yeah.
Fergal, did you want to? No, just agreeing. Cool. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. So I am now re-closing CRC 4 for semester 1. Next CRC is 2021. I'm hoping to have details of all the dates before the end of this week. I just kind of have to suss them out with myself, and then with everyone else's availability in the exec and everything like that, I will have them by the end of the week. I promise. Everyone have a lovely Christmas. Best of luck with the rest of your assignments, any exams you may have. Please sign the petition, says Chloe. Absolutely. It's in the chat. Don't be afraid to reach out if anything's going on. All the exec team are here. I might not be the most useful, but I'm sure the others are far more useful. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a lovely Christmas, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Best of luck with assignments, and we will talk to you all soon. Thank you very much, all.